Hey, it's your host, Mark Santiago, and I'm excited to introduce you to the next level of this podcast, Empowered AF 2.0. In this next stage of Empowered AF, we're going to dive deeper into what it means to be an empowered man in his most advanced form. I'm talking healthy communication, healthy lifestyle, both physically and emotionally, and evolving into the man you've always wanted to be. So stick around and join me in this episode of Empowered AF 2.0.
What's up, guys? I'm out my morning walk, and I was thinking about you and how a lot of you are going through shit right now that you don't know how to make sense of. So you're searching out YouTube, you're searching out Google, you're searching out Facebook, you're searching out all of these things, and you're trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I do this? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And years and years ago, I wanted to get into real estate investing. Actually got a real estate license and started hanging around with real estate investors and started to really just get into the game. The problem was, my muck here. The problem was I did not do the work. And what I mean by that is, like, I learned the material, but I never actually took action. And because I never took action, I sat on the information. I sat on it and didn't do anything with it. And then at some point last year, ran across a guy who's doing exactly what I want to do, which is in real estate investing. He's just like me. He's an entrepreneur, business owner, and he was looking to use real estate as tax advantages, strategies, things like that. And we had a conversation, and I said, man, I want to do what you're doing. He's like, great, come work with me. And it made so much sense to me. Fast forward to yesterday, I started working with a guy, and yesterday we're working on our second house. I got one under construction now. We're about to close on, go to construction, and we're going to rehab it and potentially flip it or whatever. And yesterday we go and look at a property, my real estate agent and I, and it was nasty. Like, it looked like it should be on one of those shows, where it was like, you know, flip or flop or something like that. And it was just gross. I mean, this thing needed a complete gut renovation. I don't know if you're in the, you know, if you do real estate investing and you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking probably asbestos, we're talking cracked foundation, we're talking black mold. That shit was nasty. Called up my contractor, showed him some of the pictures, ballpark it for me, $150K renovations. Fine, I'm not scared of a $150,000 renovation. Not a big deal. Because I knew the upside was so huge that we'd be able to make a shit ton of money still. I mean, we're talking probably a good $150,000 in profit. And so I'm looking at it, I'm good, you know, and now the next thing I need to do is talk to my mentor. Now you go, well, I mean, dude, if you know what you're doing, why would you talk to your mentor? Because mentors see things that you don't see. And so I reached out to him and was like, hey, Mike, here's what we got. Here's the house. Showed him the house, showed him the comps in the area, showed him what is, you know, potential profit and such. He's like, that's great profit, great, all these things. However, there's two problems. One, you've never done a rehab that big, and there is a great possibility that the rehab can get away from you. And what I mean by that is that the budget that you set, say it's 125 or 150K, can all of a sudden become 200 or 250 if you're not careful. And I was like, wow, I didn't consider that, you know, because I was like, okay, the numbers make sense. But again, every $25,000 or $50,000 has to come out of my pocket, right? It has to come from somewhere. And then the second is the type of lending we use, where we basically borrow on the actual renovation part too. And we obviously contribute a part of that cash down, things like that. But the renovation budget, he said, none of our lenders, or no lenders I know of, would lend on something like that because it's too risky. Like, when you ask for a renovation budget that's like half as much as the house is being sold for, there's just too much risk, and they're not going to do it. I was like, damn. And so while the immature investor in me would be like, man, this guy's holding me back from, you know, making 150K off this project over 4 months, you know, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is, he just saved me a shit ton of money and a shit ton of headaches and pain, because thinking about that property, I was like, you know what? Makes perfect sense. I get it. I get what you're saying. But that only happened because I submitted to a process with someone who's been there, done that. That's the thing, guys. is that if you don't have anyone in your corner that has been there, done that, and has done it for over 3,000 people, and that can help you process and move forward without losing your shit, without spending a ton of time in pain and agony over making the wrong decisions. Because I can't tell you how many times guys will come to Empowered Man and be like, man, I've been listening to your podcast, but I tried doing it on my own, and now shit's worse. I don't know what to do. Can you help me save this? And I'm like, bro, we save men, not marriages. What we need to fix is you first. What good are you to a marriage? And let's say your wife does come back to you, but you've never worked on here and you've never fixed here. What good are you? You're no good. You're no good to a woman if you don't work on the issues. And so many men just want to manipulate her back. They just want to, oh, baby, I've changed. I've done all these things. Like, you haven't changed. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. Because you know, as soon as the pressure release valve comes off, you're going to go right back to doing the same shit you were doing before. Getting mad at her, manipulating her, quiet, not talking to her, stonewalling her, gaslighting her, doing all those things because you've never dealt with the immature little bitch inside. You've never helped this little guy inside grow up to become a fucking man. And that has to change. And that comes through mentorship. That comes through coaching. That comes through working with other men specifically who have been through and or are experiencing what you are experiencing to help you get to that place. Last night, I had the privilege and honor of having dinner with 4 of our clients, and it was fucking amazing. We've got an event going on this weekend where I have 20 clients coming in. We're hanging out at an Airbnb. We're going through some healing topics. We have a breathwork coach coming in. We're doing all kinds of really cool stuff. We're gonna play Top Golf. We're gonna do all that. And that only comes as part of Thrive. That only comes as part of Thrive Plus. If you're in our community, in our program, you can't just come to one of these events. But it was so cool just being at that event or being at that dinner last night and talking to these guys and just hearing their stories and hearing their experiences, where it's like, you're not just some person on a Zoom call. You're not just some person in a Facebook group. Like, you're here live with me and I get to hear their story. And it was cool for them to actually get to see me. And they kept saying, it was like, man, it's like, you're real. Like, you're like a real guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking real guy. I'm like, not some guru who is too good for you guys. Like, I am just like you. I put my pants on the same way you do, one leg at a time. And I've had the same struggles you have. I just so happen to be a little further along in some areas than some people. And I've gotten mastery over some areas that maybe you haven't. And that's okay. So if you're the type of guy who says, you know what, I got to stop doing this shit on my own. And you're the type of guy who says, you know what, I can't keep making these mistakes. And you're the type of guy who recognizes that he needs help, then you need to reach out. It's time to get on a call with one of our advisors. It's time to sit down, put your pride aside, stop being a bitch about it, and just fucking do the work. That's what we want to help you with. This isn't some transaction for us. That was another thing that was interesting, is that all the guys said this. They're like, man, a lot of times when you buy stuff, it's like the salesperson or the group or whatever, it's like, you buy and then you get thrown into something and you don't know what's going to happen. Like, that's not our onboarding process at all. Like, for us, it's like, as soon as you invest in yourself, we turn on the jets. The onboarding, the hand-holding, the making sure that you have all the pieces you have, to making sure that everything is what you need in terms of getting the support you need. Now, we're not going to coddle you, but we are going to make sure you have the support you need through the process. And it's the support you need, not the support you assume or think you need. And that's the difference, is because a lot of times guys are like, I just need someone to cry to. No, bro, this isn't therapy. This is coaching. Therapy has a place, and we actually have what's called listener circle inside of our community for guys that are going through a really, really hard time and do need someone to listen to. And you can reach out to our listener circle team and they can get you on a call, etc. But in terms of the main jive of what we do, we're here to move you forward. Therapy is great. Therapy makes sense for a lot of guys, and it's about looking backward, reflecting, understanding the past. But coaching is about moving forward and helping you craft a plan, execute the plan, and move fucking forward. So if you're that guy, I'm challenging you today to get on a call with one of our advisors. I'm challenging you to stop making the same damn mistakes you've been making. And I'm challenging you to save your fucking money and energy. I can't tell you how many guys we have saved. We've saved millions of dollars for guys. I know, for example, some business owners that have used our tools to negotiate through a divorce. And in that negotiation, literally saved millions of dollars from bad mistakes because they were being assholes at first, and they learned how to not be assholes with their wife, and it turned out amazing. And then if others using our tools stopped the divorce, and that's the best we can ask for, because at the end of the day, she has to do the work as well. So I challenge you, I encourage you, get on a call with one of our team, and I want to see you inside of Thrive.
Hey, thanks again for joining us on this episode of Empowered AF 2.0. If you're new here, thanks for checking out this episode. And I encourage you to take a visit back to the first episodes in this podcast. Look, we have over 50 episodes on the foundations of how to be an empowered man. I'm talking about in your relationship with your wife, your kids, your work, your boss, whoever and whomever. And I highly suggest you take some time to listen and gain some insight and knowledge from those episodes. And hey, if you want to connect with me deeper, be sure to check out the Empowered Man group. That's empoweredman.co/group. empoweredman.co/group for latest information and to join our group of other men who are wanting to be empowered just like you. Until then, this is Mark signing off, Empowered AF 2.0.